off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit a buy, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Bit a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our Fanduel and Draftkings slate for Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. We're getting closer and closer to 2020 being over, and good Lord, let's hope 2021 is a little bit less hectic of a year, of course. First things first, thank you again for all your support. Seriously, like the kind words and just liking the videos, which helps the channel more than you know, more than I knew. Honest to God, up until like 3 weeks ago, I was like, oh, who gives a shit if someone likes your video or not? Well, no, it's actually very important. So thank you so much for doing that. You guys have really shown up in droves and done that. I really appreciate that. All the nice comments, etc. Super cool. If you're new to the channel and you new subscribers as well, those of you hitting that subscribe button for the first time, thank you so much. It's truly humbling. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. A big cheers to you all. It's very, very late. You know, I guess it's not that late, but when you're like dangerously close to 40 like I am, I guess 10:20 is late. But since these NBA games start so early, usually I guess tomorrow, which is kind of a refreshing change. It's not till 1:30 in the afternoon. I just realized that right now. But nonetheless, we're staying up late. We're going to get this done. Lots of stuff going on. But, you know, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Get access to all of our content. We're going to try to do WNBA tonight. Dion was traveling, visiting some friends and family, etc. So we were unable to get connected there. But our WNBA coverage will continue. MLB, I've really just been kind of laying off of because, quite honestly, I'm still setting a player pool on Draft Dashboard for those of you who want player pools and the research tools, batter versus pitcher, pitcher versus batter, all that stuff, all the player pools for NBA, NHL. You can get all that by clicking that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. So I'm still doing all that, but it's hard to cover baseball 10 hours, you know, or even 8 hours, 5 hours before everything starts because there's just so many things changing. Games postponed. The weather has been very unpredictable, especially on the East Coast and, you know, of course, the Southeast down there. I hope everyone's doing okay with all those hurricanes and storms, etc. So the best thing I can do is really kind of wait for the news to come out. Pitchers are being scratched. Like, baseball's been very unpredictable. But hit that subscribe button. You know, when NFL starts, we're going to have tons of content for NFL. I'll be over at sportsbookreview.com with the greatest voice in sports, Donnie Seymour. We'll be handicapping NFL as well as doing DFS on my channel here. So there's going to be so much stuff coming up. That's what she said. So hit subscribe down below. I truly appreciate that. If you want my player pool for all the sports, hockey, baseball, basketball, NFL, right down there, click that link, try it for 30 days for $1. Also, do not forget, I won $1,000 today playing Overlay DFS. The site is a ton of fun. It's a smaller site. You're not playing against a ton of people. You don't have to be perfect on Overlay. It's really just a lot of fun. Today was a great day. Won $500 in the morning on the early games and won $500 at night. Be sure to hit them up on Twitter as well. Ask them about their first deposit bonus. They have their bad beat bonus where basically if you go for the jackpot, 20 days in a row and you don't win and you keep losing, you get all your entry fees back. They do a bunch of cool stuff. Even cooler, so I won that $1,000 today. It's already in my account. They paid me out like within minutes of the game's ending. It's crazy. They do a great job at customer service. And also, spoiler alert, when the playoffs start, they do a $22 NBA contest that the jackpot's around $20,000 right now, 19, 20 grand. And they also do, if you beat a certain player, you will win. So the entry fee is $22, you win $40 off it. Well, for those of you who think I'm an idiot, which there's plenty of you who do, and why the hell not? Of course you would. Sometimes I am an idiot. Shout out to my boy Kirk Smart. He's been a subscriber for a year or two at least. And he kept telling me Lakers are going to continue playing their starters. And my formula today, where the teams with things locked up, it didn't make any sense for them to. Well, sadly, my Lakers had to go out there with the number one seed in the whole conference, and they had to play their starters versus the backups and squeak out a win on a Kyle Kuzma buzzer beater. So, although it's embarrassing, shout out to him. He was right. They continue to play AD and LeBron late into that game all the way till the end. I think it's a stupid strategy by Frank Vogel, but, opinions will differ, but he totally called that right. But my point was that I was getting to, overlay's a lot of fun. So hit him up and check that out. Won $500 in the morning, $500 at night. And when you beat my score, so you'll see, beat DFS Bachelor, you'll turn your 20. So even if I finish, out of the money in the contest, but you beat me and you finish out of the money, you're going to turn $22 into $40 just by beating my score. So if you think I'm an idiot, you want to come kick my ass, check out Overlay DFS, overlaydfs.com. Check him out on Twitter at OverlayDFS. Be sure to enter promo code DFS Bachelor. Let them know that we sent you a lot of fun today. I'm telling you, I'm in good spirits. So, after all that nonsense, sorry, God, that was 6 minutes long. Apologize for that long intro, but the show is changing from just, I don't want to just be like a stat robot. We want to have some fun, man. Cheers. Let's have some drinks. Let's sit back and talk. And if you got the time, I'll make some inappropriate jokes. From occasion, I'll be 2 sheets to the wind. Like the other night, we'll do some ranting and we're going to cuss. I'm probably going to smoke a cigarette or two now that I moved the studio out to the garage. So, we're just going to have some fun. And I appreciate you all. I really do. It's quite humbling. All of your support has changed my life. So I really do appreciate it. So let's start a point guard tomorrow. We got 5 games that start at 1:30. Before we do anything, there is a bunch of injury news. So we're going to start here at the bottom. I'm just going to scroll up through Fantasy Labs. They do a fantastic job. Justin Fan, everyone else. They do such a great job. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. I follow tons of people. I try to, like today, I didn't retweet out the news for tomorrow, even though we got it 15 hours ago. I didn't tweet it out till a few minutes ago. I try to cipher through what's important and what's not important, so you guys don't have to be like me and get stupid tweets about Adam Schefter's book club at 2:30 in the damn morning. It's so fucking annoying, but you got to follow Adam Schefter because he gets all the best NFL information too. So you have to filter through his bullshit. I try to keep the bullshit out of it and just give you the stuff that's important with the occasional funny poll, etc. So for Brooklyn tomorrow, and I know they're not part of the main slate, but I believe they play earlier in the day. Yeah, one of those early 2-game slates from the main slate. Let's just start there because, of course, a lot of us are going to wake up and want to play the early slate. So, Karis LeVert, out. Jarrett Allen, out. Joe Harris, out. Garrett Temple, out. So, you're going to be looking at guys like Rodions Kurucs and Jalen Adams and Michael Chiasa. And sounds like a UFC fighter. But, Brooklyn's going to be very shorthanded. Getting more in, and in that also in that early slate in the main slate, rather, for Philly. Joel Embiid is out. Josh Richardson, out. Al Horford, knee, questionable. He's not going to fucking play. If he does, it's going to be very limited. Tobias Harris, questionable. For the Celtics, Daniel Tice is probable. He'll be there. So then let's keep going up because there's still more news in that I believe this is the early slate for San Antonio. Bryn Forbes out. He's been out the whole time. Derek White, questionable. Russell Westbrook is going to play. James Harden will be out. Daniel House is questionable. In this main slate with Sacramento, who's eliminated from playoff contention, De'Aaron Fox, out. Rashawn Holmes, out. Kent Bazemore, questionable. For Washington, Shabazz Napier, questionable. Yeah. I mean, even questionable at this point when they're eliminated from playoff contention or locked up. Washington's eliminated. He's not going to play. Tyler Zeller, I don't know why that's important. Uh, hold on, and there's one more team for Tuesday, I believe, unless I got them all. Okay, so that's all the news going into tomorrow. So let's cover the 5-game main slate. So Damian Lillard, Portland needs to win. Okay, they want to lock up this 8 or 9 seed, and they would certainly love. Memphis has lost 5 of 6 here in the bubble, so they're doing so terrible that Portland now has a chance to move up into that 8 seed. Now, you ask what? Well, if they move up to the 8 seed, they're just in the playoffs. Well, in this bubble, the 8 and the 9 seed, if they're within 4 games of each other, will play a 3-game playoff. The 8 seed only has to win once, while the 9 seed has to win twice. So now all of a sudden, Portland's in a position where they're red hot, they're healthy, they're supremely talented. The Lakers do not look good in this. I am a Lakers fan. I love the Lakers. I've been a Lakers fan, a Lakers / Michael Jordan fan for 33 years. So, and I live in Oregon. I'm not a huge Blazers fan. I've been to plenty of Blazers games. Those are the most of the pro games I've gone to. But the Blazers move up to that 8 seed. They're going to give the Lakers a lot of trouble. I don't think they're scared of the Lakers right now. You saw the Lakers struggle with the backups of Denver. I still don't understand why I understand he wants to get them in a rhythm. Do it in fucking practice. LeBron James in his 17th year. Anthony Davis is in his, 12th, 10th, 11th, whatever the fuck it is. They don't need to learn rhythm. It's not like you have a bunch of rookies on the Lakers. I mean, imagine tonight trying to win that game and Anthony Davis, rolls his ankle or tears an ACL. Your title hopes are gone because you wanted to get them in rhythm in the fourth quarter against the backups of the Denver Nuggets. That's stupid. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit who you are, whatever logic you want to have. That's dumber than shit. But Portland, bottom line, Portland needs to win. I love Dame tomorrow. 9-9. I'm going to focus on the teams that have something to play for. We saw today teams who are locked into where they're at, or it's, minimal movement in the conference where your opponent's pretty similar. You saw what they did. You saw what Utah did. You saw what Dallas did. You saw what Denver did. We all saw what all these teams did today. I mean, the Pacers sort of played their guys. We saw what Toronto did. We saw what Milwaukee did. I mean, I get a lot of grief. I get tons of grief about all the things I got wrong. But how about today? Norman Powell. You know where you heard that. Boban, you know where you heard it. Cameron Johnson, Jimmy Butler. The list goes on and on. That strategy is going to be the winning strategy the rest of the week until the postseason. The playoffs start on the 17th. These teams are playing until Friday. So, we got to watch some of those teams. John Morant right underneath him. He's 7-4 on Fanduel. 8-3 on Draftkings. Is it way too expensive on both sides? Yeah. Is it a tough matchup against Boston, who's number 2 against point guards? Yes, but they have something to play for. How much is Boston going to play Marcus Smart and Kemba and Hayward and Tatum and Brown? I don't know. I mean, they can't move. They're locked into the 3 seed. So, in the West, for the record, for those of you who don't know, Phoenix and San Antonio are still eligible to catch either Portland or Memphis in the standings. They have to win out and hope one of those teams loses the rest of their games. So that's the situation there. New Orleans. Oh, that's the team I didn't talk about on these injuries. Jrue Holiday out. Brandon Ingram out. Let me get to the rest of, so I don't forget a player for New Orleans tomorrow. Orlando, by the way, Evan Fournier, doubtful. Michael Carter-Williams, doubtful. There's so many injuries. There's so many players who are questionable or out for tomorrow. Jrue Holiday, Brandon Ingram, and Zion all out. So Lonzo gets a boost because New Orleans, even though New Orleans is out of the playoff picture, they might let Lonzo run out there again. That's very risky for me in the top. You can see he hits value 56 and 50% of the time. That's one of the nice tools here on Draft Dashboard, is telling you the hit percentage at their price on both sides. You can click that link, try it for 30 days for $1. Ricky Rubio, Phoenix needs a win. Philly is going to be without Embiid, probably Tobias, Al Horford, Ben Simmons. Ricky Rubio, 6'4 FanDuel, 6'6 DraftKings. I can go there. I'm not playing any Milwaukee Bucks. It's just not going to happen. If I'm playing Milwaukee, it's going to be their backups. It's the back end of a back-to-back. We already saw, they sat Giannis out today with the mouth issue. It's the second time he's had a mouth issue, by the way. Let's tighten that mouth up, huh? Title of the sex tape. There we go. Ish Smith. Shabazz Napier is questionable. Again, I think he's too expensive. If I'm playing a Washington guard, and I've said this the last 3 slates in a row, and he's hit 30s in 2 of those, and then hit a 12 in the other. So 2 for 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. In the words of Meatloaf, for some of my older fans, don't be sad because 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And he's 4-3 on Fanduel, 4-7 on DraftKings. I can go there. Trey Burke had a nice game today. He was part of that $1,000 winning strategy today. Won a few $100 on Fanduel as well, and WNBA went well. Just one of those lucky days. In DFS, you're going to have those days that are great, and then you're going to have those days where nothing goes right. So you got to have some risk tolerance. I'm not a damn soothsayer, so I don't know. I'm not shooting a basketball for DeMar DeRozan. He's one of the few stars where maybe it'd be better if I did, especially if I'm open. Such a mental midget. But anyways, I digress. George Hill, even though he's a bench player for Milwaukee, it is a back-to-back. He's a veteran and a key piece of their rotation. Now, Washington's terrible defensively. So for me, if you want to take a flyer, maybe they let Giannis have one last dress rehearsal tomorrow before the playoffs, and they sat him out today, and they let him play the first half with some of the backups. But, like Chris Middleton and the rest of them, they didn't play much in the second half. They're not going to play a ton of minutes. Why risk the injury? It doesn't make any fucking sense. One value guy I like a lot, Javon Carter for Phoenix. Look, he can go out there and get you 5 points, of course, but he's playing a shit ton of minutes. He played solid tonight. Philly's really thin back there in the backcourt. Shake Milton's going to be a good play tomorrow. Alec Burks, we'll get to him in a little bit. Raul Neto could see some minutes. Cameron Payne for Phoenix could see some minutes. Dallas, we have to see if Luka and Porzingis are going to play. They rested them today. Oh, Boban was another guy in the video. We talked about Boban. Come on. Had a good night. Anyways. Corey Joseph for Sacramento. No De'Aaron Fox tomorrow. No Rashawn Holmes. So Corey Joseph is going to see close to 30 minutes tomorrow. He's 3-6 and 3-7. And a paced-up game against New Orleans. Anyone else down here? That's it. You can see tomorrow's going to be a crazy day. Don't be afraid to leave salary on the table tomorrow. If you make a lineup and you're like, I know these players are going to play, and you have like 25, $3,000 left over, tomorrow's one of those days. These next few days, this is kind of like tank mode at the end of the season. So the pricing is going to be a little bit weird and stuff. So don't be afraid to leave salary on the table tomorrow. Now, is it possible Dallas plays Luka and Porzingis? Their injuries got healed overnight? Of course. And will they give them maybe a full run? They're younger players. Like for me, I'd be cautious because I think Dallas could be a sneaky team in that first round, especially if Denver catches the Clippers for that 2 seed. Tonight's loss to the Lakers hurt that 3 by Kuzma. But if they catch the Clippers and move up to the 2 seed, are Dallas afraid of Denver? No. Have the Clippers looked that scary? Not really. No team in the West has looked scary. The scariest team's been Brooklyn, man. Brooklyn's been out there kicking people's ass. That's Oklahoma City, I think, could be pretty scary in the first round, too, if you're looking for like a sleeper team, if you're betting straight up. Devin Booker, 8-1 on FanDuel, 8-8 on DraftKings. I hate that price on DraftKings, but huge game today. Yes, it's a back-to-back. A 51, a 48, and a 49 in his last 3. In fact, his last 5 against Philly, nothing less than a 41. 4 of those games are 48 and above, including a 63 and a 51. Phoenix needs to win. They can get themselves in the postseason, and this young team wants to. Now, we had that debacle with DeAndre Ayton today. He ended up still showing up and playing. He was late for his COVID test. And I know that frustrated a lot of people, but we should be thanking the NBA for doing that because the NBA and hockey, we're not having postponed games in those leagues. They have 0 positive COVID tests in those leagues. So that's what I want. I want the security of knowing the league's going to play. Yeah, is it a pain in the ass? I'm sure. We're not getting tested, but Ayton did eventually show up. He should be fresh tomorrow against a Philly team without Joel Embiid. But I love Devin Booker. They have no Josh Richardson either tomorrow. He's their best perimeter defender besides Ben Simmons, who isn't there. So I could go there. CJ McCollum. I want all the Blazers I can get. I've actually watched Portland and Dallas play live a couple of times. I watched Luka Doncic's first game in Portland, as a matter of fact. He's 7-4 and 7-6. Yeah, He's got a 52 and an 8 his last two against Dallas. That 8, I believe he got injured. He got injured early in that game. CJ McCollum's in a great spot. No thanks on Middleton. He played today without Giannis and all them. He played, 27 minutes or something like that. Put up a 22. Not playing any Bucks on the back-to-back besides bench players. Dylan Brooks, yep, Memphis needs the win. I don't love the matchup, but again, how many minutes is that tough Boston defense going to play? I can go Dylan Brooks. He's got some, I especially like his price on DraftKings at 5.4. Bogdanovich, JJ Redick. Again, we talked about it. No Jrue Holiday, no Brandon Ingram, no Zion. You'll probably see JJ Redick in the starting lineup, put up a 43 in his last game in 31 minutes. Now, the game before that, he put up a 29 in 15 minutes. So is he scoring dependent? Yes, he is. Is it a pace down game against Sacramento? It most certainly is. But again, Sacramento is going to be playing, Luke Walton. I actually have had dinner with Bill Walton a few times. Luke Walton, I guess, got to see his wedding pictures right after that happened. This is 20 years ago. But JJ Redick has some scoring upside in that game against Sacramento, a bad defensive team without a lot of their starters. Hield's a tournament play. DiVincenzo, Gary Trent is going to play all the minutes you can get out of him. Now, look, he put up a 10 in 33 minutes. He also put up a 42 in 36 minutes. So there's a wide range of outcomes, but I think he's worth a tournament play at 4-5 on Fanduel. 5-1 on DraftKings is pushing it. Alec Burks is going to see a shit ton of minutes tomorrow, and he's got big-time upside. Probably my favorite value play on both sides. He's 4-2 on Fanduel, 4-3 on DraftKings. He and Josh Hart, with no Jrue Holiday, etc., or Ingram, could very well see Josh Hart in the starting lineup, 4K and 4-1. He has a 33 and a 19 his last two against Sacramento. This is what I mean. You can make teams with a shit ton of salary left over because a lot of these, I like the backup guards for New Orleans, the Josh Harts and the Alec Burks for Philly, than I do the Eric Bledsoes and the Chris Middletons. So you're saving some salary there. Let's go to small forward. Giannis, so he sat out today with the mouth issue. It wouldn't shock me if he played tomorrow. I don't think he'll play the whole game if he plays. So I'm not going there. Tobias Harris, he's questionable. I don't know why they would play him. Philly's limping into the playoffs. This is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. If the games don't matter, seeding doesn't matter as much because there's no travel. There's no home court advantage. So I get maybe you're trying to get into a rhythm. Totally understandable. Think it's reasonable. But if you're playing for seeding, I guess if you're trying to avoid a certain team, but they just lost Ben Simmons, and now Embiid, it looks like Simmons is out for the year. Embiid, it looks like he's going to be back, just an ankle issue, not that serious. We've seen a hobbled Embiid in the playoffs, and we've seen what happens to Philly when that happens. Why fucking risk it? Why? Use some common sense. Play him 15 minutes. Just play him in certain spots. Don't be stupid. Just practice harder, control the environment more, and try to be, less prone to injuries. I don't know. To me, it's a little too fucking easy. I don't trust any of the Boston starters. I just don't see what they have to play for. I think they play a half or so. If you think they're going to go full minutes, it's a great matchup and a paced-up game against Memphis. So throw them out there. Hayward, Brown, Kemba, Tatum, Tice. Hell, even Grant Williams off the bench. Sure. Troy Brown for Washington. I just don't think they have enough players, so he's going to have to play. They've been eliminated the last couple of games, and he still put up a 45 and a 32. I don't love that price range. You can see if he was that price on both sites this season, he would have hit value 19 and 22% of the time. You can find that here on Draft Dashboard here on the hit percentage tab. Great tool. So I don't love the price, but I will love the usage. Tim Hardaway, that's another one. What did I say in last night's video? Tim Hardaway, I know he burned everyone, but what's he going to do today? He's going to go out there and go off, and sure as shit, he put up a 36. He was part of my winning team as well. So, there's different situations for different things. Carmelo, yep, Portland's going to be going, for broke against a Dallas team who could be very shorthanded. 5-4 and 5-6, I could go there. Michael Bridges, it's a back-to-back. But again, the dude's going to play close to 40 minutes against a depleted Sixers team in a game they need to win. He's 4-8 on both sides. I love Michael Bridges. Cameron Johnson tried to scare us a little bit today. A 0 in the first quarter. Still came out with a 30-plus effort. He went down in price on FanDuel from 5K to 4.7. Lock him in. 5-2 on DraftKings. I shouldn't say lock him in. Anytime anyone says that's a lock it in, they apparently have never misspoke giving people fantasy advice. And then it's Sacramento. They have nothing to play for. It's a paced-up game against New Orleans. You have Harrison Barnes, who 4 out of his last 5 has put up a 35 or more. We just don't know what Luke Walton's going to do. Sacramento has nothing. Neither of these teams have anything to play for. So it's a total fucking crapshoot. If he gives them the minutes in a paced-up game against New Orleans, I suppose, excuse me. Kyle Anderson, maybe. Hazonia made an appearance. For Portland, it's allergy season out here in the Northwest. Matisse Thybulle, 3-7 on Fanduel, 3-2 on DraftKings. He's probably going to start tomorrow, especially if, frustrating, if Horford and Tobias Harris sits. Even if one of them sits, he's going to see minutes, and with Embiid out, he's going to see minutes anyways. So Matisse Thybulle is another fantastic value play tomorrow. Daquan Jeffries for Sacramento. They got 25 and 29 minutes the last 2 games. That's it. I'm going to try to more quickly go through power forwards. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. I know I'm rambling a bit, but there's a lot to go over. There's just so much happening with all these news, and I can't stop. Sneezing, trying to swallow it, very difficult to do when you have the allergies I do. Fucking Zyrtec. So Porzingis, he sat out today. We don't know if he's going to play tomorrow. If he does, I think it'll be a very limited amount of minutes. Portland is second to last against opposing power forwards, but you got to remember, or centers, you got to remember all year they were pretty shorthanded in the front court. Zach Collins and Nurkic, etc., were hurt. They still had Whiteside, very foul prone, but I really apologize for all that. Jason Tatum, you just can't trust the minutes. I love the matchup, and if you're someone who says, hey, Boston's going to play their starters a ton of minutes, they want to warm up, if you think I'm an idiot, then hey, do it. And don't forget, check me out on Overlay DFS for the playoffs. Think you can beat my scores? Think I'm an idiot, which, trust me, I am. Check it out and come kick my ass, and even if you don't even cash in the tournament itself, you beat me, you make a profit. Al Horford questionable. We talked about that knee issue. These teams are writing down knee. That's just rest. Hachimura, I don't like how his minutes went down to 25. I know it's kind of a little bit of a tough matchup. I think Milwaukee will not have their A team on the court. 5-7 DraftKings, 6-1 on Fanduel. I could go there. Brandon Clark, I do not want anything to do with that price on Fanduel at 5.8, but at 5K on DraftKings, you can see if he was 5,800 all year on Fanduel, he would have hit 5 times value 38% of the time. If he was 5K on DraftKings, one of the few players who are much better value on DraftKings, there's a few power forwards actually, he would have hit value 57% of the time. So I think that's solid. Tice, I think tomorrow might be like a Robert Williams, Enes Kanter type day. Certainly a good matchup. Boston's locked into that 3 seed. Why mess with it? We've seen what's happened with the Sixers. Just go in healthy. Maxi Kleber. If Porzingis is out, he's 4 or 5 on DraftKings. I like that play. Bielitsa, they keep cutting his minutes back. They're playing Jabari Parker, and we just talked about the kid at small forward, even though he plays both. And they're playing Harry Giles, so you can't trust Bielitsa. Zach Collins. He's going to play. He's going to probably start 4-7 and 4-3 on DraftKings. Dallas 22nd against power forward. So if they don't have Porzingis tomorrow and they play, I highly doubt Boban's going to be a big minutes guy back to back. So you'll see a lot of Maxi Kleber at center. You'll see a smaller Dallas team if Porzingis is out. I find Boban's just not a back to back type of player. Dude's 7 foot, 8,000 and 4 million pounds. He was big for me today. Thank you, Boban. Dario Saric started in place of Ayton. He still played about the same amount of minutes, and he's going to continue to do that, even off the bench. But I do like the matchup in a revenge game against the Sixers team that shipped him off so they could bring in Damn it. Why can't I remember the trade? It was, Covington and all that stuff. But anyways, 3.9 on FanDuel. I like that price. Nicola Melli without Zion playing, we'll see more minutes and more opportunities. Guys like Kenrick Williams will as well. There we go. Let's go on to centers. So much to go over for a 5-game slate. It's kind of a trip. So it's center. Nurk, yeah. I just said I don't want to say the word lock, but I kind of feel like you locked that in. If you don't mind, let me light my heater. I've been golfing quite a bit. I love having heaters on the golf course, and I'm carrying that over here into the studio. So, but I like Nurk a lot. He's got to be. I wish there was an awards just for comeback player of the year in the bubble, because Nurk, you got to remember, didn't play a single game until this restart. He was coming off that horrible torn ACL or Achilles. I'm pretty sure it was ACL. Getting kind of old, and then all of a sudden, his first game back, it's bam 50s. He's been very, very solid. He's not overpriced. He's 8.5 and 9K. Even if Dallas starts Porzingis, they don't like Nurk should dominate there. DeAndre Ayton, no Joel Embiid, so you can ignore that DVP. The Sixers, yeah, third against centers, but no Joel Embiid, probably no Al Horford. So you're going to be looking at guys like the Bully, Kyle O'Quinn, Mike Scott. Like, he missed his COVID test. We didn't know about this until right when we got the projected starting lineup about 8 minutes before, and it was up on the Twitter feed. And then everyone was wondering, and then it was, we'll keep you updated on Ayton. And it turned out he missed a COVID test, had to wait for the results to come in because he was late for the test. Then he ran over from his room to the game, and he still played. So he should be hungry tomorrow. I like Ayton quite a bit. And hey, let's not kid ourselves. If you're a casual fan, you played today and he burned you, tomorrow they're not going to play him. Just like the Tim Hardaway situation we talked about. So everyone's pissed at him. He's got the upside. He didn't play a ton. It's a back-to-back. I'll take the low ownership, and I'll take all the money. Scared money doesn't make money. Love DeAndre Ayton tomorrow. Valanciunas against Boston. Yes, Boston's tough defensively, but again, I don't think it's going to be a full-fledged Boston team for the whole game. Put up a 45 his last time against Boston. Not touching the Milwaukee starters. Brook Lopez did play today. Not a ton of minutes. Not going there. Derek Favors, lazier than shit on the court. I will pass. He does have a decent history. 3 of his last 4 against Sacramento were 30 and above, but there was an 11 in there. You might see more Robin Lopez than you want to tomorrow, but no thank you. Robert Williams for Boston, 3.8 and 3.3, could be an okay cash game type guy. Mo Wagner, etc. So that's everything. One more thing I wanted to say. I forgot to even bring up. I needed to eat crow for Austin Rivers. I totally forgot I even talked about him. If you guys watch the show, it's 2 Sheets to the Wind, ranting on shit. Totally forgot that I made fun of baby boy Rivers. Which I'm always going to do. And no, I don't think he's fucking any good. But hey, he went off when I gave him the ultimate reverse jinx. So I will eat crow on that. So that's our look at each position. Again, if you want access to this tool, all the research, my player pool, which based on all the news that comes out throughout the day, my player pool and my projections will change here. If you want access to that, if you want the player pool for baseball, hockey, basketball, football, click the link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. When you click that link, how you find my player pool, there's one way to do it. Now, if you have your screen zoomed back like I do so I can see everything, you'll click this Watched Players tab over here on the left. Those will be the players that you're watching to make, put your lineups in the mass lineup generator, the late swap optimizer, etc. You can generate up to 100 lineups at a time, import them in and out of Fanduel and Draftkings, edit them as you wish, etc. If you don't see it like this, and those watch players will be your own, you can compare my player pool to yours. You might see these 3 arrows up here, or these 3 lines at the top. Just go to the watch players, and those are the players that you're clicking on to add to your player pool. When you do that, when you click that Watch Players tab, you'll see a blue box at the top. It says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks. And you'll also see a timestamp in Eastern Time when I last updated it. That's important because, you never know. News might come out and I could be taking a shower or running to the grocery store. So I don't update my player pool for 20 minutes and you're like, well, hey, how come, like for today, how come Giannis is still in his player pool? Well, I haven't had a chance to update it yet, so that timestamp will let you know, like, oh, he hasn't updated it yet. I always, as accurate as I can possibly be, I mean, I'm running out here every 2 seconds changing things. If a player's ruled out, I get them out of that player pool. So it's really important to check that, especially closer to lock times, especially with NBA right now, and even with baseball, with how crazy baseball is. So once you do that, you can use it in the lineup optimizer. Again, you can go here. If you click on that blue tab, it'll highlight my player pool. You can use it in the GPP or cash game optimizer. Go to the mass lineup generator, late swap optimizer. Let's see what this lineup looks like. Let's see if we like it, just for shits and giggles. So, well, it's focusing on the teams that are going to play Morant, Lillard, Trent, Booker, Troy Brown, Cameron Johnson, Zach Collins, Brandon Clark, Yusuf Nurkic. You have 100 left over. I don't mind that. Again, I wouldn't lock that in right now. We never know. Like 3 of those players could be out tomorrow. Over here on DraftKings, it went Burks. I love that price for Burks. Ayton, Corey Joseph, Nurkic, Clark, Reddick, Brown, Lillard. Again, Lillard around 10K on DraftKings is a bit high. I don't mind just going to CJ McCollum. Then I'm like, then I can get fucking Corey Joseph, who I just hate playing, out of here. You can make some adjustments. Try to get to Rubio if you want and save some salary somewhere else. Like, 6K for Troy Brown's a bit steep. Let's go down to Gary Trent Jr. or Tyler Johnson for Brooklyn in the DraftKings slate because he's part of the 7-game DraftKings slate. So we talked about all that. Again, click the link. Try it for 30 days for $1. I'll have a whole player pool set up for both sides. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, be part of our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. I really appreciate all your support. Check out overlaydfs.com. Big $1,000 day there. They pay out so quickly. Great customer support. I really do appreciate you guys so much. May the fantasy gods be with you all tomorrow. And we'll see you tomorrow night. NBA and hopefully WNBA. I got to find out what's up with our boy Dion. Thank you all again so much. Goodbye, folks.